Hi everyone, Zoe Cavotta here. Here is my presentation for our Module 4.2, More Ways to Analyze Data. So I chose to use Kahoot because this is a tool I use in my classroom all the time. I started to read the article and realized how many features I was missing out on. So this has been really helpful and something I'm going to incorporate into my class as early as Tuesday, since I have I'm giving an exam on Wednesday, and I use Kahoot as my review games all the time. So this is the link to the article, and there was a video also in the article if you want to go back and look at that. But that. So what is Kahoot in case you've never used it before? It's a game format. It can be used, so I've always used it as a game. I use it as a review game the day before a test. What I learned in the article is there's also these student-paced challenges that you can assign to students as homework assignments for them to do on their own time. Or what I was even thinking is you could assign it, say a student misses the review game that period, maybe they're out absent, or they have, we have kids who go and leave class for band lessons. I can assign this for them to do the night before a test, where they can still be getting that same review as they would have in class. They can still see their peers' results. They can have that competitive aspect to it. So I thought that was really awesome, a new key feature that I did not know. I'm not sure if it's new as of this spring or if I always just missed it. But I really like this Kahoot because it incorporates that competitive side. And I found that when I incorporate competitions, students tend to try harder and want to do it and want to learn. So I always, not only is Kahoot itself already kind of a competition because it's a game, I also incorporate a extra credit feature. I tell students that at the end, the top 3 students on the podium will get extra credit for their exam that they have the next day. So that adds some extra competition there. So students are given points based on not only if they answer a question correctly, but also the amount of time they take to answer the question. So this incorporates that timely manner, which is huge for this year because I am setting time frames for my tests. So having students being able to practice answering questions not only correctly but in that timely fashion is also preparing them for the exam they're going to take the next day. Because I have students at home taking tests, I have students in class taking tests, that time feature is something that I can have control over, and hopefully my hope is that it kind of takes out some of that cheating part of an exam. So this is a great tool for them to practice both the content and that time. So some data and stats that you can collect from Kahoot. If you're in the game format, which is typically what I use, it's great for real-time feedback. Students know immediately if they got a question right or wrong, and then after the time is up, it tells me as the educator as well as the students how many students chose each answer option, and it has the right answer like kind of highlighted and the other ones are faded to the back. But as an educator, this tells me, if only 5 kids got the answer right and maybe 10 or 15 kids chose a different answer that was wrong, that kind of rings a bell to me. Maybe we should go over this, and I kind of stop the game for a second and we have that real-time discussion in class, and go over why a lot of us got that one wrong and chose this other answer. Maybe it was the wording of the question, or it was kind of a content misconception that we need to address. Then there's these key stats that I did not know about. So I knew about the real-time feedback, but this stuff I learned from the article, which has been really helpful. So I didn't realize that whether you're using the quiz game format, like an in-class real-time, or you assign students the student pace challenge, you get these statistics at the end where it breaks down the questions into categories. There's difficult questions, and then there's also questions that the student didn't finish. And you can look at this on an individual basis or as a class as a whole. So as a teacher, this is really great feedback, but also for students using this to study, they can go back and see those difficult questions that they had and study them, a little harder and try again. For me, the difficult question set, looking at it as a whole, if a lot of students are getting the same question wrong, that shows me maybe I should go back and reteach this before I give the test tomorrow, or wait to give the test. So it helps me and gives me some constructive feedback to use to assess my own teaching, and maybe a concept that I might have missed in class. Then moving forward with those difficult question sets, I can reassign just those questions, which is really awesome too. Chemistry, we cover a ton of content, and it's a very fast-paced class. So being able to go back, reteach some material, and then only assign these difficult question sets to students to reassess them on just those topics, that's really awesome and a great time saver for me. I don't have time to waste, assessing students on stuff they already know that we clearly understand. So this is a great way to save time and only focus on those specific questions. And then another feature I did not know about, I thought I only got the reports, that podium and the real-time reports of how many questions or how many students were answering or choosing each option for each question. I didn't realize you could also download the reports of students' results. This is great because I can save these results, and when I assign students those student-paced challenges, they can see their peers' results. So again, for a student who maybe missed the review game in class, when I assign them this to do on their own, they can see their peers' results and still have that competition aspect, as well as I can save this for myself for future years, those difficult question sets. Maybe in the future I go back and teach the material the way I did the second time if that produced better results. So this is a great year-to-year basis for reports for me, as well as for students and going into assessments. So Kahoot is a really awesome tool for those formative assessments. You can also use it as informal assessments as well if you just want to go through the game motions, or you can choose to use all of these reports that they offer for student feedback as well as for educator feedback. So I highly recommend using this if you are a K-12 teacher. I even think college students would love to do Kahoots. My kids love Kahoot review games. So I'm definitely going to start using that student-paced challenge aspect, as well as starting to save these results for